I wanted to do a long-term review of my bandsaw. Now this is the Laguna 1412. I've actually had this model for over 5 years now, and it's really held up great. It's got some neat features on the fence, so let's take a little closer look. So it has that European high-low fence, and the idea there is you just loosen a couple knobs and you can easily slide that down, and you can put it into a lower position if you don't need to do resawing. So that's kind of a benefit, and it's something I do use occasionally. Lock that in place. And the main benefit there, it lets you get the guide block assembly as low as you want for the cut because the fence won't be in the way. The main feature of these guide block assemblies are the ceramic guides, and so you basically have 5 points of contact above the table and another 5 points of contact below the table. So the blade really has no choice but just to track perfectly straight. One modification I did was to dip these plastic knobs in a Plasti Dip, give it kind of a rubberized coating. So much easier to grip and tighten that down. Still tool free, but just works great with a little Plasti Dip on there. They've got some nice accessories you can get for it, like the Spinelock lamp or the Chameleon spotlight. For tensioning the blade, there's a quick release lever, so that's handy. You don't have to fiddle with it. Just throw the lever and you're ready to saw. And there's a nice tension gauge inside the upper wheel compartment, so you know how much tension to put on depending on the blade width. So you'll do that one time for each blade change, and then it's pretty automatic from there. And that's visible through this sight window, even when the upper door is shut. I personally like this large blue anodized throat plate cover. When you remove it with a single Phillips screw, it gives you plenty of room to access the lower guides. The table tips a little past 45 degrees towards the front, but thanks to this ingenious mechanism, you can actually tilt it backwards a few degrees as well. Of course, one of the main benefits of a steel frame bandsaw like this is the incredible resaw capacity. A little bit over 13 inches of room underneath that guide block assembly. When you get up to the top of the range, there's a little periscope up effect, so that was a clever solution to give you a little more clearance up there. There's a very smooth gear drive action on that, and it locks securely in place. There's a nice looking two-tone base, and because it flares out wider at the bottom, that does give you an added measure of stability. The extruded aluminum fence is sturdy, no deflection there, gives you confidence when you're resawing. There's an outlet on the back side of the saw to handle any of the lights you want to add. The large heavy-duty motor has always struck me as very smooth and powerful. As far as any negatives in the stock configuration, the only things I wished for were a little better dust collection and then more outfeed support. Those two things in particular I was able to easily solve with some shop-made solutions. So I'll put links in the description box if you want to watch videos on a little more detail on how to fix the dust collection, so it's really just almost perfect, and then to add a nice outfeed support table on this bandsaw as well. Basically, I added a secondary dust port that's just magnetic and captures all the dust from underneath the table, so that was a great upgrade. And then I did an add-on outfeed table, and again, you can get more information on both of those upgrades with video links in the description box. I've had this mobile base on my lathe for years, but I just now added it to my bandsaw, and I don't know why I waited so long. This thing is great. There's two different kinds of Laguna lights that you can mount on that. There's a Chameleon adjustable spotlight, or a smaller Spinelock lamp with a flexible stem. And the kind of light they produce is really different. That's the Spinelock. It's very spot focused, very bright, so it is effective, but just to compare the difference between that and the Chameleon light is more of a broad, even light, and so just depending on what you like. Again, Spinelock and Chameleon. Another nice feature on the Chameleon light is you can adjust not only the intensity, but also the color temperature. I like to run it with full brightness and a little towards the blue side of the spectrum. So after 5 years of pretty heavy use, I can definitely say that I recommend this 1412 bandsaw. It's got a great cutting action, and you'd actually be surprised how much power it has. It's got that 1.75 horsepower motor, and you'd swear that it would actually be a 220 saw for the way that it cuts, but it actually runs on just regular 110 current, so that's a benefit if you don't have a lot of 220 plugs in your shop. So overall, I would highly recommend this saw. If you're in the market for a full-size 14-inch bandsaw, give this 1412 a look. It's really a good one.